Hi everybody, this is Ramon again from Bold Like a Leopard. It's March 3rd, 2017, and we're talking about a couple things. So there's going to be a point of order later to talk about an issue on my part, like what's going to change with the channel in terms of frequency of videos. And then the most important story of the day was this, or at least in my mind, there is a story that we've been talking about for the past few days, which was this bogus campaign to get Jeff Sessions to resign, which is based on almost nothing. But another shift in the case of the harassment of the Jewish institutions. Now, I personally have learned, I do pray at a synagogue, but I've kind of gotten used to this crap where there's constant threats and whatever. I don't go to a lot of I don't go to these JCCs or anything. I just go once in a while I'll go and eat something, but I think that these institutions are targets, and that for example, there was a man who committed the murder of 4 people. I think it was in 2012 or 20. No, it was in 2014. This old Klansman or former Aryan Nations guy. Forgot the guy's name, but it was in Overton Park, Kansas, and those things really happen. So whenever one of these things is going on, I don't personally look. I worry for the people that I know, because I know people who go to those institutions, especially the JCC, but also these synagogues. So this is something that for me, I've kind of adapted to it. I don't really go there anymore. Maybe it's not even because of that. It's because technically a lot of the services they offer there don't necessarily interest me. There's very little religious content there. It's more of like a social club, to be honest with you. And I'm not like criticizing them. They play an important part. They have swimming pools and tennis courts and whatever, and it's open to anybody who wants to come. It's not like it's some sort of exclusive country club. In fact, it's much more affordable. It's much more affordable to go and be a member of one of those community centers than it is to be in a country club. Now, it does cost a little money, but I personally have never really gone there. Not since I was in middle school. We used to have like basketball camp there and whatever. But the guy who got caught today, this guy has to be one of the ultimate losers when it comes to being in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing. His name is Juan Thompson, and it looks like he was a radical left black guy, and now you're going to see some of these people on the right saying, "Oh, there's all these black supremacists or something." I don't think this guy was a black supremacist, this Juan Thompson, but I do think that he was one of these social justice idiots. These I don't know why they even call themselves social justice warriors, or maybe somebody else made it up about them, but there's nothing warlike about them. They're basically all talk, and this guy apparently, according to the current reports, was using this in order to he was making these threats against the JCCs just so he could get back an ex-girlfriend. Now that might be one of the most bizarre sagas I've ever heard of. He was a former reporter for The Intercept, which is internet news publication run by Glenn Greenwald. And Glenn Greenwald is a far left, really far left guy. He's really anti capitalism and everything. But he's a real journalist. There's nothing fake about him. There's nothing contrived about him. I don't like his views. I don't like personally I probably wouldn't get along with him. But there's a number of journalists on the left who have journalistic integrity. It's not a sin to acknowledge that. There's of course there's the great H.A. Goodman. He's a fantastic journalist. There's Jordan Chariton. He's pretty good. He's on TYT. I think Jimmy Dore has some integrity. I wouldn't say that he's pretty partisan. He's hyper partisan, and you know, this is a real issue today that we don't even know who we can trust anymore. And one of the problems is that there's people who work for these news organizations that they prove themselves not to be not even trustworthy to their own bosses. One of them was down in Brazil. Another one was this guy Juan Thompson. Apparently, he was publishing fake news stories, and the people at the Intercept discovered it, and they fired him sometime last year. I think it was in January 2016, and you know, since then he may have gone off the deep end or something. So, what do I derive from this? What this is going to mean going forward is that these threats and these allegations that are going out against the extreme right, there's going to be a real problem getting credibility for it. If the real problem now, it's the same thing with these fake rape allegations. The rape on campus story that happened a couple years ago in the University of Virginia, that was a crime. The story itself was a crime against society. That's one of the reasons I cannot believe personally that Rolling Stone didn't fire that a journalist, Sabrina Ordelli. I can't believe that they're able to walk into the office every morning and, you know, look at their other workers in the face and say, yeah, we're putting out quality news stories here, because they actually have a journalist who's been caught publishing a story that's completely unverified, that was trumped up, that they got sued for, and they ended up having to pay out I think it was between $3 and $6 million. So they kept her. They kept her. They didn't fire her. And that's the standard that they set at Rolling Stone. The Intercept didn't do that. They fired this guy. But the problem that's going to be ongoing is that you're going to have issues where there's going to be these hoaxers that go and perpetrate an act like that, which wasn't really an act; it's a threat. But the threats that they were making, and the fact that they were fake, that makes this a real problem going forward. Because what's going to happen when there's going to be a real threat? What's going to happen? This is the idiocy of media that will just publish anything and go after it like it's you know, a dog biscuit. That's the problem with the American left. And I'm not going to go and say that this guy's innocent yet, or that he's guilty yet, but you know, what other suspects are there? There's been no other person that's been announced so far. I mean, the government is playing this pretty close to the vest, but we're going to have to figure out how to even report this from now on, because now there's so many things that are being reported. There was another hoax over the week in Montreal, where there was a guy who called in a fake threat to Concordia University over there. That guy's been caught too. We can't become a society where it's impossible to really know what's going on, because people are just faking everything. That people are just trying to get attention. People are using the real problems in the news in order to make a spectacle of everything. This isn't even a Trump issue. This is a social information issue, a social media issue. There was a girl, I think it was a few years ago, I'll post it on the comment section or the description, that she had to go to her college graduation because she had told her parents that she was graduating, and in reality she dropped out of school 2 or 3 years earlier and never told them. So she called in a bomb threat in order to have it so that they wouldn't come. And then she got found out about it. I mean, imagine that's the stupidity of people around nowadays, and that's a problem that we're gonna keep seeing, because that's the attitude right now. The attitude is, it doesn't matter what's true. It doesn't matter who's responsible for a problem going on. You know, the whole generation that's coming up nowadays has been raised to see drama in every situation. There's virtually no room for moderated responses to situations like that. So I'm gonna go. That's it for today. I think we're going to be seeing a turning of the corner. There's the Sessions issue is really turning into an embarrassment for the Democrats too, because so many of them are being caught having had interactions with the Russian ambassador as well. So I don't know what they're supposed to do to explain that, and it's going to be hard to get him, impeached or whatever they're going to do. Another point of explanation here. I founded this channel about 3 or 4 months ago. It's with Bold Like a Leopard, which is my, that's my Facebook opinion page. I have a blog too, struttingleopard.blogspot.com. I also have a Twitter handle now, @ChefLeopard. But, I'm starting that new job. I'm not going to be posting as many things in general, just because there's not going to be enough time. At the job I was at, I had the capacity to do it more often, but it's not gonna. It doesn't look like it's going to be that way from now on. So we're going to see how often this is going to come out, and that's the way it is. People on YouTube, people making free media and free opinions on YouTube. Doesn't matter if it's SVG or Anthony Brian Logan or Lionel or whatever. They have to work it into their work days. Most of them can't make it their main occupation. And that's the way it is with me. I have a career, and this is my hobby. This is something I do for fun. This and the library and all of my other stuff. I have this other thing called Quacking the Code about Paul Krugman, but that's all fun. I have something I do in the rest of the day, and I'm not really mixing the two. So anyway, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see what happens with this Juan Thompson. And this is Bold Like a Leopard, and we'll see you around the bend.